Hi, today I will be presenting to you how to do data analysis on the World Bank datasets. So first of all, before we start the data analysis, we need to import all the necessary libraries. So this is the first step to do it. And after we have imported all the libraries, we need to import the CSV datasets. So we just use the basic Pandas method read CSV. And I have hosted the datasets in Amazon S3. So we just put the URL of the public link here. And after we have imported the CSV datasets, it is important to see what kind of data, in what kind of format it is in. So I'll just use data.head. And this is the kind of format that it returns. You can see that there are a lot of unnecessary data inside, unnecessary column. So we need to do data cleansing before we can use those data. So in these steps, we need to drop all the missing values. Basically, from 90, we will check whether all the columns of the years have any missing values inside. And afterwards, we will test to see whether it works or not. And after we have cleaned all the data, then we need to see again that there are a lot of columns that are unused. So basically, we need to delete and remove those columns. So we start with deleting the indicator name, because we will not be using it since we know that it is all life expectancy. And afterwards, we will delete the indicator codes and country codes and unnamed. So basically leaving only the country name and the year. So on and so forth. And we test to see the format of the data. So we can see that after removing all the unnecessary columns, it becomes something like this. And afterwards, you can see that there's an incorrect index here. So basically what we need to do is to set the index correctly. So we need to set the country name as the index of the data sets. After that, we can test to see the format of the data. So it will be something like this. And now, instead of having a random index, we have the country name is the index of the data set. And now we can deduce, to deduce the major disasters happening in the historical context. Basically, we can find the lowest life expectancy of the country in every year. So we can get country name with the lowest life expectancy in every year. So we know that if the country has the lowest life expectancy in that particular year, something major or some major disaster might have happened during that period of time. So we can see that Mali, Cambodia, Timor-Leste, those are countries with the lowest life expectancy during a certain period of time. So they are probably having some kind of disaster at that period of time. And next, to verify more about which country has major disasters, we also can you can sort, like in a particular year, what are some of the lower country with lower life expectancy. So we can see probably Zambia, Sierra Leone, and Rwanda has some sort of disasters happening around. And because this is all data, so we need to visualize it to understand it better. So before we plot the data, we gotta change the font size so that it appears nicely to the audience, to the reader. And so in the last step here, we will basically plot the figure. So the first line basically will draw like the skeletons, and then next line, this one basically tell us about how to create the box plot, and we will rotate the axis 90 degrees, meaning that the axis of the axis of the year will rotate by 90 degrees. And next, this is the label, the age, which is on the Y, and we'll plot like those countries with the lowest life expectancy of each year: Cambodia, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Timor-Leste, and Zambia. So, and we'll set the design and we'll just show the graph, and we can see that in this box plot, these are all the aggregated life expectancy of each country in every year. So we can see that there's a positive trend going around, which is a good sign. However, if you look at it particularly closely, we can see some outliers from the dots here, which are particularly going out of trend. So all these particular blue dots signifies a certain low life expectancy, extremely low life expectancy during a particular period of time. So after we draw out all the lines of those countries with lowest life expectancy, we can already verify that they are indeed the outliers, or the country with low life expectancy. So what do we do next after we have known that those countries are will probably have some major disasters at that particular period of time? So we can simply just Google it. So for examples, this red line symbolizes Cambodia. So we can just basically Google Cambodia and particular of time, which is 1973, and we can already see that Google is already telling us that 1973 there's a Cambodian genocide. So yeah, this is probably one of the reasons why the life expectancy during that period of time for Cambodia is so low. And we can do the same for the next particular one also, which is Rwanda. And it happens around 1993. So we'll just Google Rwanda genocide. And we can see that it is also 1994, which is particularly tallies with the graph. You can see a major decrease of life expectancy during the period of time. Same goes for the other events. So after we have plotted out all this graph, we can analyze it, and we know that there are some events happening, and we verified it, and indeed there are some major disasters happening to those countries at that particular time. So yeah, that's the power of data analysis, data analytics that we can do to verify a certain historical account for a particular country at a particular time. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial.